Should we do this? Let's do this. Well, hello there, everybody. This is Crypto Cleanse coming to you today with a unique perspective. I think we're going to title this one Bix Weir Exposed, Litecoin is the Wrong Coin. Welcome to our best ever episode of Crypto Cleanse, and I don't just say that because it is our inaugural episode. What I want to point out to you guys is the October 8th YouTube video from Road to Aruda, Bix Weir, where he talks about Litecoin and reveals an unnerving, unsettling obsession with the LTC that is going to lead us down the road of asking a few questions, as in, what is his motivation? I followed him for years on precious metals. He did pretty good work. He was exposing the suppression, manipulation, JP Morgan, all these things, Blythe Masters. And he did eventually, to his credit, transition to crypto. But we're going to ask today is did he sell his soul to the LTC devil? In this video up here, it's not as obvious or easy to count as you might believe. Sometimes I count 69, sometimes I count 70 times where he says LTC or Litecoin. Let's take a listen to this clip, condensed version of his 15-minute show, and tell me how many you count.
Litecoin. Litecoin is a Litecoin. Litecoin is Litecoin and Litecoin. Litecoin until Litecoin. Litecoin. I think Litecoin with Litecoin. Litecoin was an Litecoin. Litecoin is why is Litecoin Litecoin the Litecoin net supply of Litecoins around 80 to choose Litecoin. Litecoin protected Litecoin. And Litecoin. In Litecoin, case of Litecoin, LTC Holdings, Litecoin without, but the Litecoin Summit. Litecoin, he's not decentralized. Litecoin is at Litecoin's the Litecoin network. Litecoin have after the Litecoin conference. Litecoin along with Litecoin and Litecoin as the Litecoin Summit with Litecoin. Absolutely, it's about Litecoin. It's include Litecoin. So if you have a Litecoin, I'm telling you. All right, platform to include Litecoin offers new Litecoin. Very nice. Your Litecoin, even to buy more Litecoin. By Litecoin Bit for Litecoin to hit Litecoin at the Litecoin Summit. Litecoin is on Litecoin and Litecoin is a Litecoin on Gem of Litecoin. I'm gonna pump Litecoin as Litecoin. Litecoin should use Litecoin to buy. Yes, the Litecoin song. Litecoin Summit. The Litecoin song when Litecoin is, and be aware that Litecoin.
Alright, so there you go. That's a condensed version of his October 8th show. And my question to you is, do you feel like you've been hit upside the head with a Litecoin rubber mallet? I mean, did he drive his point home? Did he say Litecoin enough times? 69? 70? How many did you count? So you see that there's an agenda here, people. 70 times in 15 minutes? This is not a normal thing for people to do. Now, in my opinion, Litecoin is pure inflation, and this is just my opinion. I am not a certified financial advisor. Do your own research from multiple sources. make your own conclusions from your analysis like a grown-ass libertarian adult. But what I want to point out is in Satoshi Nakamoto, he understood more about economics than your average Keynesian idiot out there. He understood uh, incentives, he understood low fees, not high fees, and he understood hard money, that the scourge of humanity for hundreds of years now has been inflation from central banks and the governments that charter them. And so he put a hard cap of 21 million coins on Bitcoin. It's there for a reason. So what kind of person comes along after that and says, I know, I'll quintuple the supply. Here's 84 million Litecoin. Guys, Charlie Lee is not as smart outside the world of code as you might think he is. Even if you take BTC and BCH, you still end up with half the Litecoin supply. And yes, BCH is a valid coin because the scaling debate itself was a valid debate. So like I said, Bix did make the transition from precious metals to crypto. Don't you worry. We're gonna get to what's his name, Chris Duane or whatever, from Truth Never Told. He did not make the transition, and he was basically losing his mind about cryptos. So Bix does make the transition, and then he turns around and says things like, there's too much gold for it to be money, and silver will be too expensive to be money by Litecoin. Now, these are the kind of statements that, yeah, it makes one wonder if he's being compensated. What do you guys think? If you don't mind, let's take a little detour through the world of geology, just to touch on how ridiculous these statements are. It's a big globe. It's a huge planet. All right. There are a lot of natural resources on it. Even if you exclude all the national parks like the Grand Canyon, there's still a lot of resources on it. Now, is 7 billion people a lot of people and cause for concern? Yes, if their governments would ever allow markets to work so that they could become wealthy, then yes, their consumption of energy and other goods will increase, and that would put that's a lot of damn people. But again, back to the globe. It's a big globe with a lot of resources. I just saw an interesting documentary on Siberia where they're running around finding these holes in Siberia, and they're asking the reindeer herder crowds, possible precursors to North American Indians, where did these holes come from? They're just appearing out of nowhere. Are they meteors? What happened? And so this hole would form and fill up with groundwater, and they'd come and look for fish and take the depth and take some readings and measurements. And where did this... The bottom line was, Siberia is basically bubbling over in natural gas. Well, welcome to planet Earth. Yes, there are a lot of resources. Now, the thing to keep in mind here, the cost of these resources, even in situations where they're plentiful, comes from the extraction, purification, delivery, transportation, storage, etc., etc. So when you look at something like natural gas, if I remember correctly, the baseline cost of production is about $2.70, and that's, I forget what the standard is. It's some number of BTUs or 100 cubic meters or something like whatever the standard is. The cost of extraction is about $2.70 per the unit used. Now, so it was kind of shocking when this character Dex, the agro-capitalist or whatever he calls himself, he was recommending a 3 times long ETF UGAS when nat gas prices were above 270. Now here's an ETF. You know, when you get leveraged ETFs 2, 3 times, those things come with something called, what is it called? Decay. Sorry. Leveraged ETFs come with decay. If you don't get your move right away, you're going to lose your investment to decay. So be very careful. I was kind of shocked to hear him recommend you guys when price of nat gas was above 270, which is the cost of extraction. So back to gold and silver. Yeah, is there is there a lot out there? Yes, but there's this thing called equilibrium, price based equilibrium. When the prices go down, less will be mined. When the prices go up, more will be mined. And again, there's a cost to that. Has to be extracted, ground up. You got to use these acids. And then once you get something that starts to look like silver, you got to start melting it down and refining it. And then these like 90% Dory bars go to the better offsite, refineries that aren't on the side of the mine, but rather real experts in metallurgy where they refine it to 999 or even 49s. And so to say that there's too much gold for it to be money, it's ridiculous. To say silver will be too expensive to be money, it's ridiculous, because you have this push-pull mechanism, this equilibrium where as the prices go up, more will be mined to fulfill demand, and as the price goes down, less will be mined because the demand is lower. And also, what Bix Weir is missing on this is for decades and decades now, gold and silver have been pulled from the earth basically in line with population growth. It just happened that way. For whatever reason, it just happened that way. Gold silver production have been increasing in a very neat line along with population growth. All right? Now, when someone mentions Litecoin 70 times in a 15-minute video, I have to wonder, is he being compensated? So I went to the Litecoin Foundation, and I didn't see Bix Weir anywhere as a member of the staff, but I want to throw this out there. Do you guys think he's being he's singing songs about it? You guys think he's being compensated? Leave your thoughts down below. And now, so back to Charlie Lee. Again, I don't see any reason for Litecoin to exist. He never even should have created it in the first place. But I want to point out 3 things about him so that people will get off his jock and stop thinking about him as a god. And again, I'm talking about the world outside of code. Number 1, when he was discussing, when he had the debate with Roger Ver on the cruise boat, it took about 90 minutes for poor Roger to get through a list of the criterias that fit the definition of Bitcoin. It was grueling. He was not intelligent. He was thick. He had issues understanding that a definition could consist of multiple criteria. Poor Roger took him an hour and a half to get through a list of criteria for the definition of Bitcoins. It was horrendous. I do not consider this an intelligent again, outside the world of code, he was obdurate, obstinate, and thick. Not possible to speak to this guy. I would not ever want to have a beer with him. I would never want to meet him. I don't want to talk to this guy. He's ignorant outside the world of code. Number 2, take a look at his little tweet storm about Lightning being more peer-to-peer than on-chain transactions. Again, this is a statement that you can really corner someone and ask them, are you ignorant or are you lying? Because it has to be one or the other. All right? The whole Alice and Bob thing, it should go without saying, and everyone should know, Alice is a wallet on the Bitcoin blockchain. Bob is a wallet on the Bitcoin blockchain. That's what's meant by peer-to-peer. And in my opinion, Charlie Lee knows this. So when he does his mental gymnastics on his little tweet storm, trying to say Lightning, off-chain, second layer, Lightning is more peer-to-peer than on-chain Bitcoin, this should be causing red flags, guys. Red flags. What's the other thing? Recently, so point number 3, recently he went off on, he said that he's going to work on secret transactions on Lightning so that it will be fungible. Now here he's confusing the terms traceability and fungible. Why am I harping on this? This is very important. Fungible is one of the criteria for the definitions of currency and money. Guys, go to Hidden Secrets of Money, Mike Maloney. He breaks it down. He breaks down the criteria for the definition of currency and the criteria for the definition of money. Go look at it. Fungibility, all that means is that one piece of gold is the same wherever it is on the planet. It's the same color, same weight, same purity, same density, and they're interchangeable, right? And it's the same thing everywhere. So, in essence, when Charlie Lee is saying he's going to solve the fungibility issue of Litecoin by making secret transactions, in essence, what he's saying is that Litecoin is not currency and Litecoin is not money. I'm going to put the nail in that coffin right now. Go look at the definitions. Go look at the criteria. Check out Hidden Secrets of Money, Mike Maloney. Bitcoin fits all the criteria for the definition of currency and all the criteria for the definition of money. Period. End of story. Anyone who tells you any different is an obdurate, obstinate, thick, disingenuous person, right? Bitcoin fits all criteria for the definition of currency and all criteria for the definition of money. It is currency, it is money. Period. End of story. And so to have this guy confuse traceability and fungibility, it does a disservice to the whole concept of why Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer cash, was created. Right? Cash. And so traceability has nothing to do with fungibility. A Satoshi is a Satoshi. Anywhere in the world that Satoshi is. Right? It's the same. If a certain Satoshi is connected to a wallet that someone who broke the law was using, and a government comes along to seize your private property because of something the person owned it before you did with it, that's not an example of Bitcoin not being fungible. That's an example of governments violating human rights. See the difference? In other words, if I have $100 bill in my pocket and the last guy to have that hundy he bought a hooker with it, let's say. Now, so is the $100 bill not fungible anymore? Because the last person to own it broke the law with it? Oh, the crypto cleanse, it's not traceable. Alright, so what if he writes, Dear Sugar Tits, you're the best hooker in the world, love. Well, John, over Ben Franklin's big forehead there, huh? What if the last guy used it to buy cocaine? It says, Dear Johnny, you're the best cocaine dealer on the planet. Love Nacho. And it's covered in white powder. Now what? Now my Benjamin is not fungible? This guy's confusing traceability and fungibility. He is not the god you people think he is. He's thick. Outside the world of code, this person is thick. Bitcoin is a currency. Bitcoin is money. Period. The nail is in that coffin. If a government comes after your Bitcoin because of what someone did to it or with it before you, that's the government violating your human rights. That's not Bitcoin not being fungible. Right? So the other utter pain of going through that list, poor Roger going through that list with Charlie, the confusion of traceability and fungibility. By the way, these new $100 bills, they have all kinds of features. I mean, are the serial numbers unique on them? It would seem like a heavy task, but I wouldn't be surprised if each one of those new $100 bills has a unique serial number. If you know the answer to that, leave a comment below. Um, yeah, because and then pretty soon they're going to be putting these high currency, high denomination bills in these little machines to detect counterfeiting, and that may be a way to trace that cash. Still not going to make it. It still doesn't mean they're not fungible. Okay, still fungible even if they trace it. Yeah, so between going through that list with poor Roger and confusing traceability and fungibility, and which leads to the contention that Bitcoin's not currency or money, which totally damages the space and misrepresents what the hell it is. Um, just trying to contend that Litecoin is more peer-to-peer than on-chain transaction. This is all just absolute nonsense. So I was happy to hear that he's going to work on something. I think research and development is fine for him. Maybe he'll excel at that. Good luck. I wish him the best. But outside the world of code, this person is an idiot. And on top of that top 3 list about Charlie Lee, the existence of LTC itself is pure idiocy. It's pure inflation. Like I said, Satoshi makes a hard cap money supply of Bitcoin for a reason, and here comes Charlie Lee with 84 million more Litecoin. Now, what kind of hell sense does that make? Does Bix Weir know what inflation is? He's been talking about it for decades. You know, did Charlie Lee get the scarcity memo on what makes money valuable? Store value? Scarcity? Such a huge disservice to the space, especially since the old timers, the old precious metals people, they already have a trouble with the, what's it called, intrinsic value question of Bitcoin because they cannot hold it in their hands. They're already struggling with that. And you have people making these misleading statements. Guys, diversification is something, I mean, at the very latest, I knew about diversification when I was 16 years old. Alright? These things are not mutually exclusive. You can have gold, and silver, and Bitcoin Cash. You can have all 4. And in my opinion, you should have all 4. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is my opinion. Alright? So guys, I want you to be very, very careful with Bix Weir. He's got 50-some thousand subscribers. He's getting 5, 10, 15,000 views per video. And he's out there saying totally ridiculous things. And he's beating into your brain with the Litecoin rubber mallet 70 times an episode to buy his bags. I don't know how you listen to it. I don't know how you do it. The bags of Litecoin, the bags under his hungover eyes, the way he smacks his lips, his hungover voice, does he brush his teeth before he hits record in the morning? His singing songs about he goes from a mumble to a yell to I don't know how you people do it. And that's what Crypto Cleanse is here for. We're going to try our best not to smack our lips. I mean, how do you listen to Bix Weir do that? He's not as bad as
Nice.
yeah, that guy. I mean, he's not that bad, but I don't know how you people put up with it. Last point I wanted to make is that it's a pretty clear business model by quite a few channels they're going to read you 2 articles. They're going to pick 2 articles and read them to you in a video. On the one hand, yeah, that's it's kind of foo-foo because you can do it yourself a lot quicker. If you do your own article selection and read it yourself, you're going to get through it a lot quicker, and you won't have to listen to strange noises and weird analyses about it. But I suppose there is a room in the space for it. We here at Crypto Cleanse, we're probably going to dip our toes into that as well. But I can rest assure you that our choice of articles will be far superior to anything currently out there, and so will our analysis. There is room for that in our space because people are exercising, cooking, driving. So yeah, being having articles selected and read for them. That's I suppose it's better if you're thinking about following that model. Here's a pro tip, bit of advice: use an ad blocker.
These nuts. Got him! Got him!